That sound you're hearing isn't background music. It's the real radio voice of Saturn, converted into something human ears can understand. It isn't singing, it's screaming into the void. For centuries, we looked at Saturn and saw perfection, the crown jewel of the solar system, a glowing golden giant wrapped in flawless rings, floating calmly in the darkness like a work of art. We called it elegant, majestic, peaceful. But space has a rule. If something looks too beautiful, you probably don't understand it yet. Saturn is not peaceful. It is a rotating monster, a colossal sphere of hydrogen and helium spinning so fast that it bulges at the equator, flattening itself into something closer to a cosmic pumpkin than a perfect globe. Beneath those soft yellow clouds is violence. Storms the size of planets, winds screaming faster than hurricanes on Earth, pressure so extreme it crushes anything that dares descend too far. And then there are the rings. From Earth, they look solid, smooth bands of gold, perfectly carved, eternal and unchanging. But if you flew into them, you wouldn't glide, you'd be pulverized. The rings are not solid structures. They are a chaotic storm of ice and rock, fragments ranging from tiny grains of sand to objects as large as mountains, all orbiting at tens of thousands of kilometers per hour. They collide constantly, they shatter, they reform. Imagine a wall of ice shrapnel stretching nearly 300,000 kilometers across, wide enough to fit Earth side by side dozens of times, yet in many places only about 10 meters thick. A blade of debris slicing through space. And here's the disturbing possibility: those rings may be the remains of a murdered world. The leading theory suggests that long ago, a moon wandered too close, maybe even one comparable in size to Titan. It crossed the Roche limit, the invisible boundary where gravity stops being gentle and becomes destructive. Saturn's tidal forces tore that moon apart. Crust ripped from core. A living world shredded into trillions of frozen fragments. The rings we admire today may not be decoration. They may be the scattered remains of a celestial corpse. We are staring at a graveyard and calling it beautiful. But Saturn's strangeness doesn't end there. Look at its north pole. Physics tells us that fluids form circles and spirals. Nature prefers curves, yet spinning there for decades, possibly centuries, is a perfect hexagon, 6 straight sides, sharp angles, a geometric storm carved into a planet of gas. This is not a symbol. It is a hurricane large enough to swallow 4 Earths. Its walls plunge hundreds of kilometers deep into Saturn's atmosphere. At its center spins a massive vortex, a crimson eye that looks like a rose made of storms. It does not blink. It does not weaken. It simply turns endlessly. And every Saturnian year, roughly 30 Earth years, the planet undergoes a transformation. A global storm awakens. Scientists call it the Great White Spot. It wraps around the entire planet. Lightning erupts within it, thousands of times more powerful than anything we experience on Earth. It dredges ammonia ice from deep within Saturn's atmosphere, turning the golden giant ghostly white. It's a reminder that beneath those combands lies an engine of heat and chaos, waiting for the right moment to erupt. Saturn commands more than 140 moons, but one of them feels unsettling. Titan is the only moon in the solar system with a thick atmosphere. Stand on its surface and you would see rivers, and maybe that's the real story of Saturn. Not just a planet of rings, not just a gas giant, but a reminder that the universe doesn't care about appearances. What looks calm from billions of kilometers away can be chaos up close. What looks eternal can be temporary. What looks beautiful can be built on destruction. Somewhere out there, Saturn keeps spinning. Its storms still rage, its hexagon still turns, its rings are still falling, grain by grain, into the planet below. And we are here on a small fragile world, staring at it, trying to understand it. Maybe one day, humans will stand on a moon like Titan and watch Saturn rise in the sky, a massive striped giant filling the horizon. And maybe they'll feel what we feel now: small, curious, insignificant. Because Saturn doesn't just show us what the universe looks like, it shows us what we are: temporary observers in a cosmos that was here long before us and will remain long after we're gone. So, the next time you see that glowing ring in the night sky, don't just admire it, respect it. Because you're not looking at a decoration, you're looking at gravity's artwork, and time is already erasing it. Lakes, clouds drifting overhead. At first glance, it feels like home. But it is a twisted imitation. The rain is not water. It is liquid methane and ethane, natural gas falling from the sky. The temperature hovers around minus 179 degrees Celsius. Step into one of Titan's lakes and you wouldn't simply freeze. Your body would become brittle. It would crack. Even the sand dunes are alien, not grains of silica, but dark hydrocarbon particles. Essentially plastic, like material shaped by cold winds into towering dunes hundreds of meters high. Titan looks alive, but it is built from chemistry that would kill us instantly. A mirror of Earth, distorted and toxic. Then farther out, there is Enceladus. A small, brilliant white moon once dismissed as nothing more than frozen rock, until we saw the fractures at its south pole, long blue, tiger stripes. And from those cracks, it erupts. Massive geysers blast water vapor and ice grains hundreds of kilometers into space at supersonic speeds. Saturn's gravity needs this tiny moon like dough, generating internal heat. Beneath its frozen shell lies something extraordinary: a global ocean of liquid water, salty, warm, rich with organic molecules, shielded from the vacuum of space. In those dark, pressurized depths, something could be moving. We traveled to Saturn expecting gas and ice. We may have found the conditions for life, but discovering these secrets required sacrifice. In 2017, after 13 years of exploration, Cassini-Huygens ran out of fuel. To protect moons like Enceladus and Titan from contamination, NASA made a final decision. Cassini would not drift uncontrolled. It would dive. On its last orbit, the spacecraft plunged into Saturn's atmosphere, a world it had studied faithfully for over a decade. It kept its antenna pointed at Earth, transmitting data until the final possible second. Then the heat rose, the pressure climbed, and Saturn tore it apart. Cassini melted, vaporized, and became part of the planet it helped us understand. Saturn feels eternal, but it isn't. Even the rings are temporary. Gravity is slowly dragging them inward in a phenomenon known as ring rain. In roughly 100 million years, a blink in cosmic time, those iconic rings may vanish completely. The jewel will lose its crown. Saturn will become just another gas giant drifting through darkness. So when you look up and see that golden light in the sky, remember this: you are not looking at peace. You are looking at violence held together by gravity, at beauty forged from destruction, at a masterpiece that is already fading. Saturn may be the most beautiful object visible from Earth, but in the universe, beauty is often just chaos wearing a crown.